Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the hidden chemical dangers sitting right inside our favorite everyday devices. And more importantly, we're going to give you a practical, actionable survival guide to keep your home and your loved ones safe.
Okay, let's dive right in. Take a quick look around you right now. Seriously, scan the room. Chances are you're mere feet away from a lithium-ion battery. Maybe it's in your pocket or sitting on the desk right next to you. They are literally everywhere. So today, we're going to figure out exactly how they work and what happens when they fail.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the hidden battery danger, explaining thermal runaway, the officer's charging checklist, safe surfaces and storage, and finally, alarms and emergency actions.
All right, Section 1, the hidden battery danger.
It's absolutely fascinating to see the sheer variety of items relying on this exact tech. We're way past just cell phones here. We're talking vapes, e-bikes, smartwatches, wireless headphones, even wearables like LED face masks and hairstyling tools. And on a macro scale, it's electric cars and massive AI data centers using them as a backup energy system. They pack an enormous punch of energy into incredibly tiny packages.
And you know, this tech isn't just some passing fad. The core technology has actually been around since the 1970s. It was such a game changer that the inventors won a Nobel Prize for chemistry back in 2019. Today, it's pretty much the foundation of global, everyday power. But, as we're about to see, stuffing all that incredible power into such a tiny space definitely comes with some very real risks.
Moving on to Section 2, explaining thermal runaway. So when you use or charge these batteries, they naturally produce heat, right? But the charity Electrical Safety First warns that everyday innocent mistakes can cause them to dangerously overheat. We're talking about triggers we might do without even thinking, like overcharging the device, using a cheap incompatible charger you bought online, dropping it and causing impact damage, or getting water inside the system. Now, the crucial thing to understand here is what happens when that heat gets totally out of control. It leads to a terrifying state called thermal runaway. Think of it as a deadly feedback loop where the battery essentially destroys itself from the inside out. Once the heat generated exceeds the battery's ability to cool off, things turn catastrophic fast. You can actually track this tragic micro-narrative of a failing cell in 5 distinct steps. First, the heat exceeds the device's ability to dissipate it. Second, the internal temperature starts to skyrocket. Third, this extreme heat triggers a violent chemical reaction inside the battery. Fourth, that reaction produces even more heat, driving the temperature even higher. And finally, step 5, the internal structure of the cell becomes totally unstable, leading to a complete breakdown and collapse.
All right, Section 3, the officer's charging checklist.
Now that we know the terrifying science, let's bring in a professional. Ashley Cranston, a watch commander with the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, gives this stark warning about why these fires spread so differently.
Normal fires, right, they need to pull in oxygen and heat from the room, but lithium-ion fires, they generate their own heat and their own oxygen. They literally fuel themselves. That is exactly what makes them so rapid and incredibly hard to put out once they start.
To prevent this self-fueling nightmare, Commander Cranston provides a strict, essential charging checklist. First off, always buy from reputable companies. Second, follow the manufacturer's instructions to a T. Third, and he emphasizes this heavily, use only the charger that came with the device. Seriously, do not mix and match cords. Also, don't charge your devices overnight while you're asleep. Make sure you're actually awake and in the house while they charge. And finally, unplug them the second they hit 100%. Honestly, most of these fires are completely preventable if we just stick to these habits.
Next up, Section 4, safe services and storage. There's a massive difference between a dangerous habit and the proper safety method here. Remember how we talked about the battery needing to dissipate heat? Well, if you charge your phone on your bed or slip it under your pillow, you're completely trapping that heat. Never, ever do this. You absolutely must charge your devices on solid, flat surfaces, like a wooden desk or a kitchen counter. That allows the natural heat to safely escape into the air.
You also got to actively keep an eye on your devices. If you ever notice physical warning signs, like say the battery looks visibly swollen, or maybe the device is making a weird hissing noise, you must act immediately. Stop using it right then and there. Unplug it. And please take it to a proper recycling facility. Do not just toss it in your regular trash.
And finally, Section 5, alarms and emergency actions.
Because these lithium-ion fires escalate so incredibly fast, having early warning systems properly placed around your house is your non-negotiable first line of defense. The Fire and Rescue Service stresses that you must have working smoke and heat alarms installed. For proper placement, put smoke alarms on every single level of your home, inside every bedroom, and especially in the rooms where you frequently charge things like e-bikes or laptops. Just keep them away from kitchens or bathrooms so you don't get false alarms. You need that immediate alert because when a battery hits thermal runaway, every single second counts.
Now, if an alarm does sound, or if a battery fire actually breaks out, Watch Commander Cranston has an absolute rule. Follow this specific emergency fire protocol. 1. Get out of the house. 2. Stay out of the house. 3. Dial your local emergency number immediately, which for the Scottish Fire Service is 999. And 4. Do not try to tackle the fire yourself. Remember, these things produce their own oxygen and heat. Just leave the heroics to the trained professionals.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one critical, potentially life-saving question to act on right now. Where is your smartphone charging at this exact moment? Is it on a solid surface, or is it buried under your blankets? Are you using the original cord or some cheap knockoff? Take what you learned today, tweak your habits, and keep your home safe. Thanks for hanging out with me for this deep dive, and I'll see you on the next explainer.